we're obviously going to talk about transfers because that is the season that we're in right now. Summer transfers. The only one that seems to be close to being signed is Edison. But we thought we'd do a little bit of a special on the Croppers Transfer Corner in that we would identify the three positions, and there's probably more, but we're going to go with three positions and players or players that Manchester United need this summer to improve the squad. I think it goes beyond three, but we're talking about the top three that we need right now. So first on your list, what did you have? What position and who was the player that you had?
Well, centre midfield is the obvious one, isn't it? We have to strengthen centre midfield. I'm going to say the thing with Ugarte, it might be a bit of nothing against Ugarte, but it might be a bit of a blessing in disguise because there was rumours about him going. He might not have gone, and then the club might have gone. Well, we've got Ugarte there on this money. We might have to use him. With him being injured now, they have to replace him. So it might be a bit more. Whereas that like last week I was saying, do we need three midfielders to come in? Can we get away with two? If you've got Ugarte there, they'll be thinking the same. Now we need three, don't we? But so centre midfield, we need Fernandes. Just simple.
Mateus Fernandes, right?
Mateus Fernandes. Oh yeah. It's just do it now. I mean, I know you've said in the chat, hold out, the price will go down. I'm completely just pay the money. It's doing my head. We did it with Maguire. The West Ham aren't going to go all of a sudden, we'll accept 62 million plus 20 million add-ons. No, they're not going to do that. If that's what they're saying they want for him, and you touched on this last week when I was listening back to it, and I disagreed again. Just pay the money. I know you've got to have a top limit that you're doing, but no, just go and pay it, get it done. There's no reason why you can't United. If Tottenham, Spurs are now sniffing around him, and if you're led to believe that he will just go to the highest bidder, well then go and make your offer. That's our offer. We're not going to go above that. If it is 82 million, if you can't go past 60 million, make the offer, and then go right. We're going to move on now. It just does my head in when they're just constantly, we'll give you a million here, a million there. We've seen how it ends with Harry Maguire. You end up paying it anyway. Fellaini, we ended up paying more. Just pay the money, lads, and do it.
But this is a different regime. So it is Ineos, and they are refusing to be bent over a barrel with any deals now. So they've got a wage cap and they've got a transfer cap, and they have got, and I think last season proved that they did really well in holding out. Eventually, they did still end up paying that type of top money for Brian Mbeumo, despite waiting for so long. I think they still need to do that. I still think Mateus Fernandes has just been relegated with West Ham. They're in a strong position because now there's another team that wants him. The only difference for Manchester United to be able to get him for any cheaper is if he turns around and says, I want to go to Manchester United. And that's the only way that it changes. Because he can just say, forget it then, I'm going to stay. I'll just stay. And they'll be like, well, no, because we need 60, 70 million at least to bolster the rest of the squad. We're banking on you going so that we can get that cash in. So I think I get what you mean. But I don't think that this regime want to be known as the people that just pay that money. We're only linked to him in the press, and the insiders like David Ornstein know that it's happening. But you have to think that behind the scenes, there's got to be other players that they're linked to. And if they overpay, say they say he's 60 million, he's worth 60, right? Okay, Mateus Fernandes 60 million, and then that means that the 20 million that West Ham were asking that we saved, we can then put that onto a left back, a centre back, a this, a that. I don't think you want to put all your eggs into one basket. So I'll give them. I agree. I would rather something happen very fast with him. Go and make that bid and try and ruffle some feathers. But I think they're right to wait. I think they just need to be calm and just try to see how these things work out. It's frustrating for us as fans. I completely get it though.
Would you be happy on that note then if Spurs bought Mateus Fernandes for 85 million, would you be happy to go right up? We'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Would you? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because 85 million, as I said, it's 85 million for West Ham, but it's also the player going, okay, my ambitions are to go to Spurs and play for Spurs. Okay. Bye. then go to Spurs then. You can't just wait around for it. If they knew, Manchester United knew Benjamin Sesko wanted to join them, despite Newcastle saying we're ahead in the race and we bid more, right? They were going to give him more salary. Brian Mbeumo was the same. Spurs wanted him. They were desperate to get him, and they thought that they had him. The only one that there wasn't really any competition with, because it seemed like it was in the pipeline for a long time, was Matheus Cunha. So they had their targets and they set it, and they did what they had to do to get him in early, because they knew that they were going to hit however much Wolves wanted, and he's in. I think it's different with. In fact, it's not different. It's exactly the same with Mateus Fernandes. If he wants to go to Manchester United, he has to make that known to West Ham, and he has to say, "I'm not going to Spurs." That's it. Simple as that. And George Mendes is no mug. He will keep him wherever he wants to, and he will move him wherever he wants to as well. So yeah, don't go out. Spurs are going scattergun. They're desperate after last season. They're going scattergun. They're doing what they want. They just paid 52 million for Van Hecker at Brighton. He only had a year left on his contract. 52 million for a centre back, and they've already got three centre backs. So
rumours to believe they've gone big. They're going big for Tonali as well. It looks like they're just going all in, like in poker, aren't they? Let's go all in, and then never works well. Never works well. Yeah. So centre midfield, first position, get it done.
Yeah. Okay. So I've gone. While we're on that, I'm going to mix in both of mine, because it covers what we're talking about. But I've kind of split it up slightly. So I've gone defensive midfielder. So I think they need a defensive midfielder. They need a dog in there that basically cleans up. I thought that was going to be Ederson at first, but the more I see of him play, he's actually box to box, and I think that's what we need. We need a defensive midfielder, and we need a box to box midfielder in that hole. So we need three, basically. Defensive midfielder, I've gone back to an old name, mate, because he's Premier League proven, and I think the price has probably dropped for him. I'm going with Carlos Baleba.
Really?
For the defensive midfield role, yeah. And the reason why I think it's better to go with Baleba is the other options that we've got for that position in terms of Tchouaméni or Camavinga, the two players that are rumoured to potentially be moving from Real Madrid. That's going to be drawn out. 100%. That's going to be a long, drawn out thing with Real Madrid asking for certain conditions, and I just don't want to get into that. As a Manchester United fan, I don't want to be dragging it out across the summer. I think Carlos Baleba has had an incredibly average season for Brighton. I think the valuation that they put on him at the beginning of last season, 110, 120 million, whatever it was, they're not going to get close to that now. They should have accepted United's 80, I think it was 90 million that they bid for him.
Mm-hmm.
They should have accepted that. I still believe that he had his head turned, and that's why he didn't play very well at AFCON, and he hasn't played well for Brighton all season. So in terms of a defensive midfielder, Carlos Baleba is still the man for me.
72 million apparently is the price they've named this morning.
Do it. It's 50 million less than what they wanted last season. So I wouldn't hate that. And it's clear after that Brighton game when he was talking to Lenny Yoro, when he was talking to Bruno Fernandes, there was something being said there. So maybe. And then box to box. So we've got Ederson. Practically, he's signed up. I think he will be good for Man United.
I agree.
But then if it's not Fernandes, I think you've got to go with, and it's an obvious one, but I think you've got to go with Alex Scott. I think he does the dirty work, and I think he does the flair stuff going forward as well. And if United can persuade him not to sign this new contract that Bournemouth have put in front of him, I think they could tie that up quite quickly, because, again, it's player power. If Scott goes back to Bournemouth and says, I don't want to play next season, and I don't want to sign this new contract, I'd like to explore my options now, they don't have much of a good situation where they can be in a power of strength and just say, well, we're just going to keep him. because he could go on a free. I think has he got 2 years left? I think on his
I think
contract,
it
maybe.
might be a year, Nathan, to be honest.
Exactly,
Yep.
which is why they want to tie him down. But if you're going for if you're getting a defensive midfielder, I'm going to say Carlos Baleba. If you're going to go box to box after Ederson, because I still believe we need 3, it's either Fernandes or it's Alex Scott. I don't see those two being you buy both of them at the same time.
2028 his contract runs until the club value him at 60 million. I think that's a doable one, and I'm all for it. I've said it all. I think he looks like a United player. I think more so than a Belieber. So yeah. I would go Fernandes or Belieber. I'd be happy with, and then Alex Scott as well. Brilliant. Yeah, centre midfield sorted.
Fair enough. Then your second spot that you've got.
Second spot, I believe that we need to strengthen more than others would be left back. I just think we need left back, and I think it's a position we can really enhance. And I've said it all the time. There's a couple of options, but the main one that stands out, Lewis Hall, easily done. Do it. Yeah. Class player. Love him.
I don't disagree that Lewis Hall would be a fantastic signing, but I'm going to stick with my rhetoric about United do not need another left back. I feel like it's still the strongest position that United have got right now. In terms, it's stacked. Look at Mazraoui just played for.
Bob Mazraoui again. Mate, he's an animal. He's an animal. Love him.
Killing it, and he's playing left back as well, mate.
He is playing left back. I noticed that as well. Yeah.
I never saw Mazraoui as being a player that could fill that left back spot. I always thought of him, and I've said this before on here, I always thought that he was just a very functional player, good at defending, not much going forward. But he's proved with Hakimi on the other side that he can really get forward and cause problems with Morocco. And he did that for 120 minutes I think he played the entire game. He did that for Morocco against Netherlands to get through to round of 16. And that's why Lewis Hall, I think if there's an opportunity to get Lewis Hall, I completely agree. You should definitely go and get him, as long as it doesn't affect the other things. But in terms of left back, when you've got Dorgu, who can play there, but I got a feeling he's going to play further forward this year. When you've got Dorgu, Shaw, Harry Amas, Diego Leon, and who was the other one? Mazraoui. And Dalot can even play on that side. I know. Yeah, and you know our feelings on Dalot, but they can all play on that side. I feel like they're stacked over there. I would say right back is probably the one that you need to fill out. Dalot at right back. That's our number one going forward, mate. Although he's not even on the list.
How many players have you just named there for our left back, and not one of them is a patch on him? Not one is a patch on Lewis Hall. Not one. Oh, not one. They're not even close to his. They're not even close to his level.
In what way?
They're not. So name your players.
Luke Shaw's better than
Luke Shaw. No, Luke Shaw's not better than him. Luke Shaw had a good season. Luke Shaw's got the capability to just break down. And he again. How old is he now? Yeah, you can't rely on Luke Shaw.
Lewis Hall has the potential to be better than Luke Shaw. I don't think he's better than Luke Shaw now.
Right now, I think Lewis Hall's better than Luke Shaw.
Okay,
especially going forward. Who else was it? Dalot? Mazraoui is not a natural left back. He's only playing there because Hakimi's the best right back in the world.
But he's playing there well.
He's doing well. He is doing well. Yeah, he is. So he can fill in there. Who was your other options? Who else was there?
Dorgu, Big Paddy.
Yeah, like you said, probably going to play further forward. We've seen him at left back. He's not the same player.
Harry Amas was the one that was supposed to be the natural replacement for Luke Shaw, but he's had injuries. I think as soon as he went to was it Norwich he went to, and he got injured straight away. He left Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, he left.
It's a bad one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, really bad one. So he's out for the season, I think it was after that. But yeah, I mean Hamas was always the one. Said Hamas then, but his initials are Hamas.
Don't stop being political. It's not a political show here.
He's good at attacking.
I think you're getting a Champions League ready-made, Premiership proven footballer. England's best left back for me. Obviously, the lad from City is very, very good. I think you go and get him, and I think you're able to get him, say 60 million, 55, 60 million. is a good price for what you're getting there. And he's your left back for 10 years, barring injuries, etc. Him and Luke Shaw there, if you say Luke Shaw coming for the big Champions League games away, or Luke Shaw, but we're playing someone away from home, we just need to sit in maybe Chelsea away, them kind of games. But Lewis Hall there he's an outstanding left back, mate, and you just throw him in straight in and it's done. Yeah, I just feel like it's an easy one for them. And the other ones are not a patch, no matter how much you fight for them.
Well, I mean, you're wrong, but we'll continue. Right, okay. The last one that I've got, and then we'll do your last one, the position that's a priority, and I imagine we've probably got the same one here. A striker at Manchester United. Manchester United need a striker. There was reports this morning in the Athletic in their deal sheet. We read these out. We did this last week as well. They seem to drop at the perfect time for when we do these shows. So it's all good for us. But Joshua Zirkzee apparently is available for sale at Manchester United. I mean, that's the worst kept secret ever because he didn't have a great season last year. Doesn't really fit in anywhere at Manchester United. So seems like a lad that's, good vibes around the club, but probably not the best player to keep there if you want to be scoring goals. So for me, as a striker, I think you either go veteran or free. And I think a free veteran might be the best way to do it. But, so Lewandowski's obviously gone to Chicago Fire. That was announced recently. Did you not know that? Yeah.
No, I did not know
he's
that.
gone.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
What a waste.
Yeah. Chicago Fire.
Okay.
Seems to be the retirement ground for a lot of ex-Bayern players. That Thomas Muller's there as well. But I thought Danny Welbeck, he's kind of gone down in my list when I'm looking at players here because I think he'd cost you a little bit of money. If you could get him, brilliant, but not with a transfer fee. If you could get him for just contract termination, then he comes in, sits on the bench, comes off the bench, bit of impact, I would go with Danny Welbeck. But wanted to get your thoughts on these players. These all, according to transfermarket.com, all free transfers this summer. I've not gone through the exhaustive list. That's a feature for another time. But I thought I'd just read these ones out and just see if any tickle your fancy. And remember, they're a reserve striker that is going to be playing second fiddle or helping Benjamin Sesko. Okay? All right. So with that clarification out of the way, the first one that I've got on the list is Dusan Vlahovic, who's just left Juventus by mutual agreement. He's only 26 and he's available for free. Okay. Thomas Muller, a player that we just talked about a second ago. His contract runs out at Vancouver Whitecaps. 36 now, but his contract runs out.
How's he only 36? Sorry. He's been around for 47 years, that lad.
Yes. He has. It's like a car when you buy one of those dodgy cars and they've wound the pedometer back.
MLC, the clock back.
Get the clock back. Callum Wilson, outsider bet there. He's 34, just left West Ham, obviously got relegated with them. And then the last one that I've picked on here is Galatasaray's Mauro Icardi at 33. Now, 4 options. I know, you shook your head all the way through that, but 4 options there. Out of those, and on a free transfer, which one, if you had to take one, would you take?
Oh, out of them 4?
Vlahovic, Muller, Wilson, or Icardi?
I know Vlahovic, the reason why he got released, Juve couldn't afford his wage demand. But out of those 4, it probably would be him because he's 26. He's the only one that's a decent age. Was linked with Arsenal, wasn't he? Not long back. Jackie, big shout out to Jackie. Loves his Italian football, Italian man. Has told me 12 months ago he should have been the man we should have gone and got. I've not seen enough of him recently, to be honest with you, but seems like a bit of a he's wherever he's gone, he's never really took off. He had a couple of good seasons. Fiorentina he was at before he made the move to Juve. I think he got 20 odd goals and he was linked with a big 80 million move to Arsenal. If you're going to get him on a free, you're probably getting a player that's worth 40 million, 50 million for a free. But if Juve are letting him go because his wage demands are too much, how much in wages is he going to want on a free? So,
See, I think there was probably a little bit more to it than just his wages. I mean, if you read the rumours and the bust ups that apparently happened at Juve while he was there, it sounds like he's a little bit of a bad egg. So you might be buying someone that is, he's going to upset the rest of the dressing room. But at
mm.
26, he's my choice. He's what I would go with. The other one, I mean, I'd go with Thomas Muller just for vibes, just to see what he'd be like. Finally, we just get Thomas Muller in after all these years of chasing him. We got him in. He's in a wheelchair, but we got him in. He can barely run anywhere. He comes in.
Still be better than
But
Xerxes, won't he?
I know exactly. So that Vajovic would be the one that I would go with. But in terms of a position that Manchester United need to fill, they desperately need to get another striker in to help out Benjamin Sesko.
Mm. Yeah, I've gone another way with my last position to fit. I feel like we touched on it with Cunha. Cunha can play as a false nine. It's not his best position, I don't think. I
Yeah.
think he is better coming off the left, but Cunha can play there. So I've gone left wing. Now, this will all depend on whether the man Marcus Rashford is going to be accepted back and welcome back, which we spoke about in length, and
Mm.
it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen now because
Yeah.
people aren't going to take him on. I think we'll all have to be a bit more open to that. But if Marcus Rashford comes back, I don't feel we will have to strengthen there because I think we've got numbers. We've also got some superstar kids that can play in that position as well. But if Marcus Rashford does move on, I feel like we need to strengthen there. I would use Cunha as the backup option as a striker, and I would then go in and get your man that I always want, Mr. Ndiaye from Everton, because he is top class.
It's interesting that you still want him, like, because I'm not saying that he's not the right player, but the 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 rumor for that just seems to have gone completely cold. Like there's no links at all anymore. It was all
Nothing.
very
Nothing.
it was all it was
It's just me.
it was all,
It's just me. It's just me. Copper in a dream. I'm just pushing it. Please
one
listen
man
to me.
campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only me that wants him. Even anybody else I talk to goes, really? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You'll all see next season when he's at Everton or goes to PSG and you're all like, this lad's brilliant. Like, yeah, I told you. But yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
that's
wouldn't.
what I would do.
I don't dislike the lad. I think he's a very good player. But as I've said many a time before, my mate who's an Evertonian, he says he's very patchy. He could. We've signed players that have been patchy before, and we've turned them into superstars at Old Trafford. So it could be one of those. But I know that he's been scouted by United as well. Um, as you well know, where that connection comes from, and how I know that
Hmm.
information. And he's been scouted a few times, but that's all. That I mean, they scout loads of players throughout the year,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
he just seems to have dropped off completely. Left wing is somewhere as well. Patrick Dorgu, he's got to play
Yeah.
somewhere, mate. He's got
Yeah,
to play
yeah, yeah.
somewhere.
No, I get it. I get it. Yeah. The thing is with yeah, and Jai, it's just terrible with these names. He can play on the left. He can play in the 10. He can play on the right. He's that comfortable of a football that he can play. You could even play him off the front as well and play him off the striker if you're going to change your formation. He could probably play in an 8 and still be for that
Do you know
very, very
what
good. So
though?
he is an option for the whole forwards,
Do you,
if you
do
know
you
what I
know? Do you
mean.
know what though? I think United need a specialist rather than someone that's a utility
I
man
can
up front.
understand that.
I think I
You
think
know,
you're right. I think what you're talking about there. I think we've already got a few of them. We've already got a Matheus Cunha that can play left wing at a push. Bruno Fernandes can play there at a push. They can play 8. They can
Umo.
play they can play 10. Ahmad and Mbumo on the other side. They can play all of these different positions. If money was no object, you would and if you could persuade him, Yan Diamande is the person that you buy for that position. It's the reason why they wanted Semenyo so much. They wanted a specialist to attack that left wing side that was able to go forward, that would offer them the same thing on the left hand side as they had on the right with Ahmad or Mbumo.
Hmm.
So and I see the benefits of having someone that can play in all the positions, but I think United are kind of in a privileged position now where they've got youth players coming through, as you mentioned before. Like, there's lots of players that can play in that position where they can focus on bringing in superstars or just specialist players that do a certain job. Like Erling Haaland, I'm not saying we're going to sign him, but Erling Haaland comes in to score you goals. You buy a left winger like Yan Diomande to beat a man one on one, put the ball in the box of Benjamin Sesko. That's what you want. Could Endai be that man? Yeah, I think he probably could, but I just don't think it's a priority for me. This is it's all about what we think. It's our opinions on this,
Mhm.
but I don't think left wing is as big a priority as it is finding someone to play backup to Sesko. Although Matheus Cunha might have something to say about that.